the enduring legacy of paganism. Imagine a belief system older than Christianity, woven into the land, the seasons, and the stories our ancestors told around firelight, yet still alive today. When most people hear the word paganism, they picture fantasy movies, witches with pointy hats, or vague ideas about magic. But the reality is far more grounded, far more human, and far more deeply connected to the world around us. As someone who has studied pagan history and Norse traditions through academic sources like Williams 2021 and McCoy No Date, I've learned just how misunderstood paganism truly is. Today, I want to help clear away some of those misconceptions by exploring its historical foundations, its cultural practices, and its modern relevance. My thesis is simple. Paganism is far more than a superstition or myth. It is a diverse tradition which ancient roots, rich cultural practices, and meaningful presence in the modern world. To understand paganism, we have to go back to pre-Christian Europe, long before organized religion shaped the continent. Paganism wasn't a single unified religion. Instead, it grew from localized, nature-based belief systems that developed independently across regions. People honored the land, the seasons, and the cycles that governed their survival. Their spirituality wasn't separate from daily life. It was woven into farming, hunting, storytelling, and community gatherings. Williams 2021 explains that early pagan practices were deeply tied into the rhythms of nature. The solstices and equinoxes were not just dates on a calendar. They were turning points that shaped how people lived. These early communities relied on the land, so it made sense that their beliefs reflected the world around them. But much of what we think we know about paganism comes from later Christian writers, especially during the medieval period. These writers often portrayed pagans as primitive, dangerous, or immoral. Their goal wasn't accuracy, it was persuasion. They wanted to frame Christianity as superior, and the easiest way to do that was to distort the pagan identity. Unfortunately, those misconceptions stuck. Even today, stereotypes about witchcraft, magic, or evil pagan practices come from these biased historical narratives, not from actual pagan traditions. Understanding where paganism began helps us appreciate how its practices evolved into meaningful cultural traditions. One of the most recognizable aspects of paganism is its connection to nature and community. Seasonal festivals, offerings, and rites of passage were central to pagan life. These celebrations marked important moments in the year, the return of the sun, the first harvest, or even the beginning of winter. What's fascinating is how many of these traditions survived, even after Christianity spread. Holidays like Yule, which became Christmas or May Day, which is we still celebrate in spring, are rooted in pagan customs. When we decorate a tree in December or dance around a maypole, we are participating in traditions that go back thousands of years. Norse paganism offers another rich example of cultural depth. McCoy, No Date, describes Sidir, a form of Norse magic associated with prophecy and shaping fate. It wasn't the Hollywood version of magic. It was a spiritual practice tied to community well-being and personal insight. Figures like Freya and Odin were central to these rituals, showing how complex and symbolic Norse spirituality actually was. These practices weren't fringe or strange to the people who lived them. They were expressions of identity, culture, and connection. They helped communities understand the world, cope with uncertainty, and celebrate life's transitions. And while these traditions changed over time, they didn't disappear. Instead, they resurfaced in new forms that continue today. Many people are surprised to learn that paganism is not only active today, but growing. Modern pagan movements such as Wicca, heathenry, and Druidry draw from historical sources to revive and reconstruct traditions that were lost or suppressed. For many practitioners, paganism today focuses on environmental ethics, personal spirituality, and community connection. In a world where many people feel disconnected from nature, paganism offers a way to slow down, pay attention to the seasons, and find meaning in the natural world. Paganism is also a legitimate field of academic study. Scholars like Williams 2021 highlight its influence on folklore, literature, and modern spiritual identity. As academic interest grows, old misconceptions are being challenged, replaced by a more accurate and respectful understanding. In other words, paganism isn't just a historical curiosity, it's a living tradition that continues to evolve. Paganism's ancient origins, rich cultural practices, and modern revival reveal a spiritual tradition that is far more complex and meaningful than stereotypes suggest. By exploring its history, rituals, and contemporary significance, we can see paganism as a vibrant and enduring part of human culture. And here's the part I want you to remember. Paganism isn't a relic of the past. It's a living tradition that continues to shape how people connect with nature, community, and meaning today.